the disciples, they're still out there. They're rowing. Their arms are out there just numb. They can't even feel them anymore. It's like they've had a 12-hour workout. They're going through this storm that they're going through, and it's like a typhoon. It's a strong storm. They're going against it. The boat was beat up. It was dark. It was thundering. It was lightning. The rain and waves and wind were just going in, in a strong force. So Jesus gets closer. He gets closer to him, and I want to read a little bit out of the book of Matthew. In Matthew 14, I'm going to read Matthew 14, 25, 26 tonight. Really quick. It says, shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, talking about the disciples, walking on the lake. The disciples saw him walking on the lake, and they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and they cried out in fear. See, so after Jesus is walking on water, the disciples, they see that image. They don't know what it is. Again, it's raining and thundering, and all of a sudden they just see this image walking down through the water. And as they're there, I mean, they're in a boat. I imagine just a boat big enough to fit 13 men. And the image gets closer, and they start to freak out. They get scared. Their hearts and minds begin to fill with fear. So can you imagine a bunch of grown men scared with fear that there's a ghost coming? Man, I would have been like, I don't care what's out there. I'm jumping out. Anything can eat me, but not that ghost. So I'm going to read now a little bit I'm continuing on from Matthew 27 now. And Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it is you," Peter replied, "tell me, come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on water, and came towards Jesus. So again, as the image gets closer, the disciples are scared. They begin to have fear. They question it. So Jesus calms them and says, "Hey, it's me. Don't worry." But Peter, it's like Peter doubted Jesus. And he didn't believe him. And the only way that he would believe him is he had to prove. He had to prove to him. I mean, Jesus had to prove to him. If Jesus were to tell you something, would you believe him? So Peter wanted the proof to back it up that was Jesus. Now, I'm pretty sure that you all have done this once or twice, or maybe not, but I know I have. When you're cornered to make a decision, but you're going to only make that decision based on proof or security. But what more security do you need when you have God as your guardian? So Peter questioned him, and all Jesus wanted was for Peter to have complete faith in him. So in verse 30. But when he saw the winds, he was afraid and began to sink. He cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So Peter, he asked Jesus, "Prove to me that you are God, that you are Jesus." And he comes out and he starts walking on water. And throughout this time, he's focused on Jesus. And and he's walking. But then all of a sudden, he takes his eyes off of God. And he starts looking at these waves and the wind's blowing, the water everywhere. And he loses focus from Jesus. I've lost focus before. And I'm still growing. See, we have to learn to always stay focused on those situations where you can't take control. You have to learn to let it go. Let go of whatever's out there distracting you. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your hand, let it go. And let God take control. Because he's there to extend his hand towards you and to save you. So, you and I can probably relate to all these stories that are in the Bible. To this one here. So whenever you're feeling depressed, why don't you turn to God? Whenever you feel lonely, turn to God. Look for him and stay focused on him instead of your distractions. See, God will always have a way to bless you, to guide you, to protect you at all times. But like I said earlier, he wants all of you. He wants you to be fully committed to him at all times. But the very moment that you take your eyes off of him, I promise you, you're going to have turmoil in your life. You may have a little bit of fun doing it, but I tell you, the end result ain't good. I've fallen several times when I know I should have kept my eyes on God. You can't take control of your situation. You absolutely can't. Everything we do is for God's will, is God's purpose. So you ask yourself, what is focus? How do I do it? But we're going to take a break here. We're going to get back to this worship that we came here for. We're going to come back to this where I left off, where we learn how to let go. And I'd like to call the worship team back up.